The movie begins with a scene of space, where millions of asteroids are floating around. Among them, a giant asteroid is seen heading towards the spaceship in which an astronaut named Andy Ramirez is in cryo-sleep in his sleeping pod. His spaceship begins to shake badly, causing the emergency alarm to go off. Andy wakes up. Andy is thrown on an emergency launch suit by the spaceship AI, whose name is Leonard. After that, Andy with his sleeping pod is thrown out of the burning spaceship by Leonard. Along with Andy, several sleeping pods are launched out of the spaceship to keep the sleeping people safe. But most of the sleeping pods blow off in the space after colliding against the asteroids. Somehow, Andy's pod escapes the explosion but crashes on an unknown desolate planet full of rocks and boulders. Andy tries to contact his team, but no one replies as no one is left alive. Leonard, the spaceship's AI, suggests to Andy that he should exit the pod immediately. Andy tries to open the pod, but it doesn't as the pod is broken down. He tries to break the glass with his gun and succeeds in it. He gets out of the pod and starts looking around. Right then, he sees his burning spaceship falling from the sky. The spaceship also crashes on the same unknown ruined planet. This causes a storm of dust which blows Andy far away. He asks Leonard where he is. Leonard informs him that he traveled 2.48 trillion kilometers after leaving Earth, and he has arrived at the wrong planet because of an unexpected collision happened in the space. The AI tells him that he is the first human to step on this unexplored planet. Andy finds a flickering light across the terrains and immediately tries to contact the survivor if anyone is still alive there. He heads towards the glimmering light, saying, "Any survivors out there?" He reaches there and discovers his spaceship burning away. He finds a light source at a distance, which will take him 48 minutes to reach there. Andy gets there while passing through the storm. He finds a survivor making things right. He approaches the survivor, who tells his name as Dwayne. Dwayne asks Andy to assist him to fix the problem. Andy asks him if he has any idea where they are. Dwayne reveals to him that they had been into the cryo-sleep cycle for 3 years and 4 months. The company decided to take a shortcut through an asteroid field to save fuel, but this plan backfired, meaning we are not where we are supposed to be. He further tells Andy that they are probably the only ones left out of 200 souls on board. Following this, Andy begins to plug in the cables, but in the meantime, Dwayne is attacked and taken away by a native creature monster, and Andy is unaware of it. He turns back and finds Dwayne's SOS light lying on the ground. He asks him to show up, but when he doesn't, Andy goes away from there after taking Dwayne's gun. There is no sign of life on this desolate planet except poisonous gases. While looking for the fastest route to the Borealis, Andy reaches a cliff, causing him to get frustrated a little bit. Just then, a woman survivor named Naomi Calloway contacts him through a tracker. She tells Andy that she is also on the same planet and she is stuck in her pod with her legs pinned. Andy tries to find a signal to track Naomi and asks her to keep talking. Leonard informs that the terrain is unstable and the visibility is also very low. Moreover, it will cost him 30% of oxygen. Having said that, Andy proceeds to search for Naomi. It gets dark on the planet, and Andy is still tracking Naomi's location on the planet while talking to her. Here, he tells Naomi that he is a music teacher on Earth. At the same time, he feels someone's presence over there, causing him to order Leonard to scan the area. But Leonard informs him that this feature is unavailable in its system. Thereafter, he starts walking to Naomi again. After covering some distance, Andy finds several holes in the ground. He follows those holes and reaches a large hollow pit, after seeing which he immediately leaves from there and tells Naomi that there are some kind of nests of aliens on this planet. Naomi freaks out, but Andy mollifies her and says to her, it could have been a shadow or something. He may be mistaken as, it is too much dark there. After walking some distance, he finds a spider web on the eerie planet, but this time he does not tell Naomi about it. Naomi asks him why he has come to this planet. Instead of answering the question, he begins to look around to track a danger. Right then, a monster creature passes from there at the lightning speed. He orders Leonard to turn off the lights. Naomi detects something and informs Andy to get alert, as something very weird is approaching him very fast, and it is 100 meters ahead of him and he can see them, but Andy replies, I can't see anything around me. Then, Andy orders Leonard to link him with the approaching trackers. Leonard detects some threats around Andy. He takes a stone in his hand in fear. Andy starts running from there after seeing a scorpion-like creature heading towards himself. He falls into a pass of ice while getting away. The menacing creature chases Andy while crawling on the ice. Andy falls off the corridor of ice and comes down tumbling. He hears the monster growling up there. Andy is severely injured from inside. He gets up and tells Naomi that he was being chased by a scary monster creature. It was like a spider with a scorpion's tail. Naomi asks him to calm down and stop screaming. Meanwhile, Andy's suit starts leaking air, causing his oxygen level to go down rapidly, but beforehand, he seals his leakage. He tells Naomi that they are not alone there. Just then, Dwayne contacts Andy and asks him to get to him as soon as possible. Dwayne states that he killed the monster that took him away. Andy rushes to Dwayne, who had been signaling him by shooting in the air with his flare gun. Andy runs to him, but by then, the monster creature reaches there and brutally kills Dwayne. Andy hides behind a crashed sleeping pod and sees the creature killing Dwayne. Right behind him, another creature shows up there. Andy is freaked out thoroughly. One of the scorpion-like creatures starts heading towards Andy. Just then, other damaged pods are activated by Naomi through an AI device to distract the menacing creatures. Seizing the opportunity, Andy gets inside a pod lying damaged there. Inside the pod, the light starts going off and on, causing both the four-legged creatures to get attracted towards the light. Meanwhile, Naomi hacks all the damaged pods and turns on their light, causing the alien creatures to get puzzled. Making the most of the opportunity, Andy starts running away from there. Aliens also saw him escaping, and they begin to chase him to make him their prey. Andy reaches running into the foggy environment. The aliens don't cross the foggy area and return from there. Andy tells Naomi that these creatures hunt in packs, and she also needs to get out of her pod immediately. Naomi says to him, "I can't get off the pod because my leg is busted." Andy reaches such a beautiful place on the planet that is filled with fireflies. One of the fireflies approaches Andy and starts stinging on his helmet and drives him away from its territory. He hears something grunting around him. A fish-like creature appears from the ground and starts swallowing him. Andy does his best to get rid of the creature, but fails. The fish-like creature swallows Andy completely. He asks Leonard to help him right away. Leonard pulls him out safe and sound after electrocuting the alien creature. The sand creature starts chasing him, burrowing underground. Andy resorts to a tunnel, which leads him to a nest of fireflies, which also begin to bother him. Somehow, Andy manages to escape from there. He finds Naomi's pod lying crashed at a distance and totteringly heads towards it, while his oxygen level is reduced to 3%. Andy gets to Naomi's pod and finds her unharmed. Naomi opens her pod and lets him in and charges his suit to 100%, causing him to breathe comfortably. Thereafter, he pulls out her stuck leg, because of which Naomi has been stuck inside the pod since the crash landing. Now, both of them get off the pod. Naomi thanks Andy for saving her life. In no time, the lurking creatures show up there around the duo. Both the survivors start running at the sight of the crawling creatures. They find their spaceship lying broken down at a distance. While running to the spaceship, Naomi falls on the ground as she is tethered to Andy by a rope. Meanwhile, the aliens arrive there to devour them. Naomi fires a bullet from Andy's flare gun, which he stole from Dwayne. The alien creatures get attracted to the bullets and go after them, instead of killing Andy and Naomi. Simultaneously, both the survivors get into the spaceship before it's too late. Naomi shuts the door, chopping off the lurking alien. The dreadful aliens standing outside try to break down the door of the spaceship. After getting inside, Andy and Naomi find the ship totally banged up. After going deep inside the spaceship, the duo finds a chamber where there are several undamaged sleeping pods containing human beings in cryo-sleep. Therefore, they think of getting inside the chamber. Naomi finds a streak of blood. They follow the streak in fear and discover an alien roaming around there. The alien senses their presence and looks around. The creature passes by them roaring without seeing them hidden behind the door. Andy and Naomi get out of the hiding place and begin to look for an undamaged pod by which they could escape from the planet. At the precise moment, an alien arrives there, causing Andy and Naomi to get themselves locked inside a door in a hurry. For the time being, both of them are safe now. Andy tries to unlock the door, but Naomi stops him from doing so, as there is no way out. Andy begins to give in, but Naomi encourages him and says, "I know that you can do it." In the meantime, an alien tears down the door. Andy remembers that these creatures are scared of fireflies, so Naomi pulls out a firefly and throws it at the alien, causing it to step back. The door opens on its own, and both the people reach the end of the room. Seeing the alien heading towards themselves, they jump off the height. The alien follows the duo wherever they go. Andy comes up with an idea of crushing the alien with a pod. Naomi hides under a broken door while an alien is lurking at her. Andy gets on a pod and orders Leonard to launch the pod. Naomi is running for her life while an alien is trying to hunt her down. Andy launches his pod and crashes it onto the alien, causing it to die. Andy passes out in this crash. Naomi tries to bring him back to his senses. Andy gets back his consciousness. Now, both of them go into the open and see the sun rising and begin to wait for the help coming from the Earth in the next 8 months. And with this scene, this movie comes to an end.